Imagine sitting in a beach bar in a sunny tropical country, typing out your last few words for your thesis and then handing it in. You look at your phone and see what your friends from school have been up to recently, and they are stuck in their towns, finishing up their degrees, whilst there is rain and hail right outside their windows. Or maybe what you had studied for wasn't what you had expected, and you want to change. So, you take on another degree part-time to hopefully shift career paths in some years without sabotaging your current one by stopping all of a sudden, by dipping your toes in that new career path you hope to pursue in some years. These are some of the scenarios possible with online university education nowadays. Being able to earn a degree at the pace that you want and whenever you want has been promised, and many people have taken this on, with the market for online universities revenue projected to reach $166 billion by 2027. Fueled by the pandemic and its accelerated transition from the real world into the online one for many people's work and education, course purchases and site traffic are at an all-time high. Many universities have been adapting their promotion strategies to a more digital approach, where online university programs are being offered by top universities around the world, as well as through online learning platforms such as Coursera. Coursera has seen its audience and quantity of online courses drastically increase, especially throughout the pandemic, when many people would take courses to adjust their skills for the more digital world, including me personally taking a few courses while sat at home. The platform saw an amazing 450% increase in the number of enrollments in 2020. That same year, Coursera partnered with more than 150 universities to offer learning services through their platform. However, the platform still operated at a loss, with this amounting to $66 million in 2020. This shows that regardless of how big the user base is, ramping up revenue at the same rate is still much harder than it seems, as it has been seen recently with a lot of tech firms. Some of the gaps in the market attempted to be addressed by the online education industry include customer benefits, like those mentioned in the beginning of the video, with flexibility to study from whenever and wherever. Cost efficiency and living costs, as the customer can study the degree in a less expensive country or city than the one offering it. What is also being argued is that specific credentials for in-demand skills could one day fully replace a 4-year degree by teaching learners a specific set of industry skills. This would enhance skills that are actually used in the industry. Notable examples of this include Google's Data Science Certificate or Amazon Web Services Cloud Developer Certificate, which provide learners with an effective approach towards learning skills that are in demand in a short period of time, without teaching unnecessary skills that may or may not be used. However, although all this flexibility and efficiency of online education has seemed to show little to no setbacks in online education's unstoppable growth, there is an untold truth behind it. It is not one that should be easily discarded and can really cause problems to societies aiming to heavily incorporate online further education in the long run if not dealt with correctly. This untold truth is that online education further limits social interactions, which are indispensable to learning about the career paths you will pursue. Evidently, an increasing number of careers today can be progressed through with very little social interactions. Yet, this is not to say it will not be needed. Social skills are key to advancing one's career, from doing well in job interviews and asking your boss for a raise to giving presentation or negotiating salaries. These are things that may not be taught in standard degrees, but engaging with other students and teachers and furthering your social skills can help with. As most of the communication in online degrees is conducted through emails, chat rooms, discussion rooms, and calls, it limits the offline time to get together and socialize. The lack of campus atmosphere can limit friendships and personalized attention from instructors through face-to-face interactions and feedbacks. As findings reveal that students perceived that social interactions improve their learning by developing their knowledge in literacy, teaching, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. Essentially, the mere belief that there is an interaction with another person leads to superior learning. These interactions are heavily limited behind device cameras, as you can never fully see the other person's body language or communicate in an unhindered manner. How many times have you thought you misinterpreted what someone was actually saying through texts or calls when you probably wouldn't have in real life, seeing them face to face? Body language can really show what someone feels about a situation at times, and online communication hinders this. Yet, for some people with difficulties in communicating with others, sometimes online communication can be beneficial, as in-person communication can be difficult, exhausting, or even stressful on occasions. For example, people with hearing difficulties may find that lessons with subtitles online that can be looked at their own pace can be more beneficial than in-person lectures that are not subsequently recorded. Online degrees in these scenarios can be helpful, as they change the total time someone may spend in social interactions if they find themselves struggling in them. Overall, it is clear that what works for some may not always work for others. Online degrees have given large amounts of flexibility to many people to discover their future careers or even potentially new ones if their current ones are not what they expected. However, the years that COVID encouraged social distancing and limiting social interactions has certainly had a devastating effect on some people, as many people have been personally affected by this. Prolonging or extending this effect through online education can really have an impact on societies in the future, where social relation skills may be much more limited in some generations compared to the previous ones, and this may be damaging. Nevertheless, a balance can most certainly be found. One type of education does not have to replace the other. In fact, both can complement each other. By utilizing digitalization and in-person degrees in order to make education more personalized for each individual so they can set their own learning paces. Whatever their pace may be, synchronizing everybody's level can be so much easier, so some students do not get left behind. Also, students with learning difficulties can be much more easily incorporated using available technology, so they do not feel obliged to take the online degrees because of the difficulties. They can even feel encouraged if the technology really reduces the impact these impediments may cause. On the other hand, online education can learn from the benefits of maintaining more realistic human interactions and try to incorporate them further over time in digital classrooms. For example, incorporating digital methods to meet other people by encouraging interviewing others offline and developing students' interviewing skills. Personal skills are a talent that can take many years to develop, and they are undeniably very important. Through the use of tips from people that have gotten very far in their careers, there is something always to be learned. Check out this animated video summary here to learn how you can use them in your career and how they can benefit you in your future. You never know what you might learn.